So, just over a week ago, I uploaded a video about how I think that Nemesis at Alton Towers could close in the near future. And in response, I got over 900 views. Thank you very much. A ton of likes and dislikes, as well as a bunch of comments basically implying that everyone disagrees with me. So first of all, I just want to say a massive thank you to you all for your support on that video, because it really does mean a lot. But now we're going to expose, or react to, I should say, some of your comments, because since that video was so successful, I thought, why not make a follow-up? So join me as I go through some of those comments on that video for the very first time, sharing my opinions of what I agree with and what I disagree with, and just continue the discussion in general of the future of Nemesis at Alton Towers. Hello and welcome back to ThrillNet, bringing you everything thrill related in the UK and beyond via the internet. We're going to start off then with a comment from Melonaful LY, who says, I can guarantee without any shadow of a doubt there is no way Nemesis is closing anytime soon. Queue times aren't entirely indicative of popularity. Nemesis is the icon of the park, they won't close it. Now, first of all, yes, you're right, Nemesis has an incredibly good throughput, and therefore its queue time isn't necessarily indicative should I say, of its popularity, as it can seat I believe 32 riders per train, and it does tend to run through 2 trains on the circuit at one time. So yeah, and the staff are very good at getting them trains out. And as for it being the icon of the park, yeah, sure, it would get a lot of uproar if it closed, but as I did say in that video, I don't think it would affect them that much financially if they got a new ride, because everyone would be excited about that. And also, the Smiler and Wickerman also have brilliant throughputs but get higher queue times than Nemesis, so that's another argument for that one as well. The next comment we're going to take a look at then is actually a very recent one from the DJ Corky, and they say, the beast isn't going anywhere, B&M make coasters to last. An employee told me at Scarefest that engineers from B&M came in October to examine the track and certified it for another 5 years. That'll take it past its 30th birthday, then a retrack will definitely be on the cards. So there's not much I can say about that one, because I've not spoken to anyone from the park, and if this is true then it's good news if Nemesis is staying for the time being, and hopefully, yeah, they retrack it after 30 years and it doesn't go, but as I said, that will come at a cost, so who knows. But basically, you know, if that's true, we can pretty much guarantee that Nemesis isn't going anywhere until at least after 2024, so a good 3 years. So yeah, maybe based off that, it's still got a good few years to live at least before something happens to it. But judging off how much downtime it's having at the moment, the maintenance team definitely need to keep on top of it for sure, because yeah, things aren't looking good in 2021. Theme Park Bot says, I doubt Nemesis is going to be removed, but if it did, there will be much fanfare. Yes, as I've said previously, a lot of people wouldn't be very happy if Nemesis was to be removed. I can like literally picture enthusiasts protesting at Alton Towers, and I literally don't think I'd visit the park for a good month after any news like that was announced, for my own safety, because I'd be worried about getting hurt or something with all the violence that I can imagine around the Nemesis site and around the Alton Towers Resort in general. Jason Cowan says, just because it has had a lot of downtime this year doesn't mean it's going to close. No, it doesn't, but the Alton Towers maintenance team need to start looking after it, or just do something so that it doesn't keep having this much downtime, because it is having way too much downtime at the moment, and just something needs to be done to make it more reliable, because it's getting to the point where it's closed more than it's open at the moment. Well, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but I'm sure you get my point. JD Cooper says it would be really hard to permanently close it, since it's literally dug into a huge hole in the ground, and they wouldn't be able to do much in there compared to just retracking it or getting new trains for Nemesis. Along with that, Nemesis is a legend, and they understand that there would be quite the upset in the community. Please don't use the word community. The so-called theme park community is not a community at all. I think it still has a good 7 to 12 years to go, and it's going to be like Vampire at Chessington, where it gets to a point where they just have to remove it. Well, yeah, you've got a very good point there. It is literally dug into a hole, and it's very compact. It would be quite hard to get a new ride in there and work with the existing train rather than just, you know, retrack it or something. That would be easier. But as I said, there's costs involved with that. Your point about it being a legend and upsetting people, as I said, is perfectly valid. And yeah, I do think it will get to a point where it is permanently removed, as I basically said in my last video. You know, 7 to 12 years suggests, you know, it's got a bit to live yet. It's not going to be the next 3 to 4 years, as I sort of think and said or thought last video. And yeah, I don't think they really will be able to replace it with anything when it does permanently close, because as I said briefly there, the terrain, it's not going to be the easiest thing to work with. You and T, are you doing your university dissertation about Nemesis or something? This comment is too long and way too in-depth to cover in this video, so I'm just going to pick up a couple of key points from it, one of which being that he said that Nemesis is doing a lot better than that pile of scrap that is Big One at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. I'm not happy one bit about that. Big One is much better than Nemesis. I take airtime over everything. Where's the airtime on Nemesis? Big One is giving ejector airtime, and so it's much better than Nemesis. And he says that the reason it's doing better is because Nemesis hasn't had to have retracking done ever, whereas Big One has. Well, that's because Blackpool Pleasure Beach actually care about looking after their rides, unlike Alton Towers, which don't go to any effort whatsoever, barely. So that's why Big One has had that done as a precautionary measure. And he also says that it's much more reliable. Nemesis is much less reliable than Big One. Apart from those, you know, 1 or 2 stoppages that Big One's had on the lift hill and on the brakes this season, it's had no problems. You know, we went an entire 12 hours at a late night riding event at Blackpool Pleasure Beach last Saturday. Big One did not go down once throughout those 12 hours. And I can tell you that every single, practically I bet, nearly every single ride at Alton Towers, or roller coaster should I say, you know, big thrill ride, would have gone down in 12 hours because that's how unreliable Alton Towers rides are. So yeah, if you enjoyed that rant, for more things thrill related in the UK and beyond, be sure to smash the subscribe button and notification bell. And I'd be really grateful if you left this video a like as well, you know. If you do, I'll give you more rants in videos. As well as that, he's also gone into detail about why Nemesis has been having problems lately, which is fair enough. And he's also said that the Smiler only has around 800 riders per hour capacity, whereas Nemesis has around 1,150 riders per hour capacity, which is why the Smiler and rides such as that tend to get higher queue times. But I'm not sure there's a direct correlation there. I think the Smiler is still a bit more popular. Little G World says, personally, I think it's not going anywhere. I feel like every time a rumour starts about it closing or being refurbished, it stays. But this time, I don't think it will close permanently. But it might close for a few years to be completely rebuilt. This is because it's starting to look like Subterra coming back, which makes me think they will bring that in while Nemesis is gone, but I definitely think the end is coming. But what would replace it? And that is the big question. What would replace Nemesis if it was to be removed? As I stated before, the terrain isn't very friendly around the area, so it would be very difficult to work with surrounding getting new additions installed. But it does make sense that Alton Towers would try to bring Subterra back if they were to close Nemesis for a long period of time, to make sure that the capacity around Forbidden Valley stays relatively high. So you've brought in some very good points there, and I think that this is the most likely scenario, it seems, from these comments. I know I said that I think Nemesis will close in the near future, but based off all these comments, a big refurbishment sounds more likely, and Subterra coming back in when that sort of is about to start would make a lot of sense. So yeah, very likely scenario there, I think. Royal Recording says, what coasters were better than Nemesis 27 years ago, fella? Big One. Access All Experiences says, spoke to park management about this rumour. They put it to bed for us. Nemesis is not going anywhere. Now, we went through a comment similar to this before, and when people claim that they've spoken to the park management or someone high up at a theme park or amusement park, I'm usually a bit sceptical, but I'm 99% sure that this is true and that Access All Experiences have actually spoken to park management. And the reason I'm so sure is because I actually do watch this YouTube channel, and it's a really good YouTube channel that you should definitely check out regarding disability access at theme parks and amusement parks. So yeah, do go and check out that, especially if you have a disability. Very useful information. And I know for a fact that they have spoke to people high up at parks, particularly Alton Towers, who have a very good relationship with them. Yeah, it's highly likely that this is true, because I know for a fact that this has happened. They've spoken about how they think the disability systems at parks can be improved and stuff, so they've done some really good stuff with park management, actually, so I'm sure they have raised this question to them, and if so, then brilliant, Nemesis is staying. And it really reinforces the fact that I've basically been bashed to death in this video, and that my opinion's probably wrong because everyone seems to disagree with me. I'd also just like to address this comment quickly from Jeremy Clarkson. Hi, how are you doing? He says, saw the thumbnail and immediately realised you needed the view. Best of luck, pal. Thank you so much, Jeremy. That really does mean a lot. Thank you for your support. I did reply to your comment before, as of when I'm recording this video, so yeah, I really do appreciate it. For more things Thrill related in the UK and beyond, click the icon at the bottom of your screen to subscribe to ThrillNet. Be sure to also click the video on the right side of your screen to watch my original video in which I discussed my thoughts on the potential closure of Nemesis in coming years. I'm Ben, thank you so much for watching ThrillNet, and I'll see you in another video.